Hello. Many of you wrote in on Facebook and asked some really interesting questions about Holland House cooking wine and Nakano rice vinegar. One of them came from Linda Finley, and she asked us should she use a dry white wine for cooking, and yet she kind of leans toward using red wine in cooking. Well, you use too dry a wine or a really oaky wine, and it's going to ruin your recipe. So you really need to use a wine that's well balanced, and that's where Holland House comes in, because it's made specifically for cooking. There's red, white wine, and the wines are grown in vineyards just where your regular table wine is. They're made specifically for cooking, so they're perfectly balanced. They're not too dry, not too sweet. You can't screw up a recipe. I don't think you can. I use it all the time. It's my preferred go-to cooking wine. And if you're leaning toward red wine, Linda, remember red wine only goes, Holland House red wine only goes with certain dishes like maybe roast beef or a pasta sauce, something like that, where a white wine you would use on chicken. So there's a real difference between using red cooking wine and white cooking wine. But again, Holland House cooking wine is perfectly balanced, and I mean, it's my go-to wine. Sharon Chamberlain White wrote us an interesting question on Facebook. Can she use Nakano rice vinegar for pickling? The simple answer is no, only because it doesn't have enough acid in it. The ideal thing, the wonderful thing about Nakano rice vinegars, is that they're a real mild 4% acidity, and you can use them in a huge variety of ways. But it's not acidic enough for pickling. A couple of you wrote in, Samantha Bliss and one or two other people, asking what's the difference between cooking wine and regular table wine. Well, essentially, they're kind of the same in that they all come from the vineyards where we drink our wine. The difference with cooking wine, Holland House cooking wine, is that it has a little salt added. That does two things. It adds some flavor to your food, but mostly it maintains the consistent flavor of the bottle of Holland House cooking wine once you open it. So you can have it in your cupboard for 6 months, and that flavor of that wonderful red or white cooking wine is going to maintain, it'll be consistent. Whereas you open a bottle of table wine, once you open that, the flavor starts to change. And so you might not be able to use it in cooking for a little bit later. You probably won't be able to. Holland House cooking wines has that salt, which keeps a nice, consistent, rich wine flavor.